living lighter. 5 things you can learn from Buddhist monks. The extreme of simplicity. Modesty and restraint are virtues that are almost threatened with extinction. We pay homage to consumerism like a new religion, declare image to be the causa prima, and, if necessary, recreate ourselves every day. We need followers more than friends and manage our social lives mainly online with the swipe of a finger. A car is no longer enough, let alone a home. We want the best and the most expensive, and yet we are never satisfied. At some point, this life, which we lead more like proxies, has such a grip on us that there is no escape. The 80-hour working week is no longer a rarity, and relaxation has to be for sale. The more exclusive and the more expensive, the better. At some point, this spiral accelerates. In fact, it only ever leads downwards, often into burnout or other stress-related illnesses. At this point at the latest, we should ask ourselves whether the purpose of life is really to impress people we don't like and who we sometimes don't even know personally, for example, on social media. Slowing down. Mindfulness and resilience are the real luxuries. But unfortunately, they can't be bought for any money in the world. We need to make room for them and give them space. A minimalist life would be the answer to all the questions that have never been asked. The best in this field are undoubtedly the Buddhist monks. Their belongings often fit into a small rucksack. In their eyes, more possessions are not necessary. So it's high time we took a leaf out of their book and asked ourselves whether we could bring more joy and fulfillment into our lives with fewer material possessions. If you want to embark on the adventure of minimalism, you can start with these 5 simple steps. 1. Possessions make you unfree. The accumulation of pointless things, items of clothing, shoes, decorative items, tools, or technical gadgets, has mutated from a consumer experience into a real addiction. We clutter up our entire lives with lifeless objects that mean nothing to us, the second we carry them home like freshly hunted prey. What remains is an emptiness that is even greater than before the purchase. The antidote: more consumption and ever more expensive purchases. Each time, there is a vague hope that this luxury item, this car, or this completely overpriced designer item will finally bring us salvation. But nothing of the sort happens. If you really and truly want to free yourself from the demons of emptiness and meaninglessness in your life, you would do well to undergo an abstinence from consumption. In addition, at least one item from your existing collection of trinkets should be disposed of every day. If you find it difficult to simply throw things in the bin, sell, give away, or donate them. According to the well-known quote, "One man's trash is another man's treasure." 2. Give your days more structure. Living sweetly into the day is the fastest way to miss out on life after speeding along in the fast lane of your own making. The late risers and the workaholics may be lighting the candle at opposite ends. However, it will burn senselessly and go up in smoke for both sides. A fulfilled life needs fulfillment. This does not mean a jam-packed, stressful everyday life that brings us close to the brink of a heart attack. Buddhist monks, and those in Christian monasteries too, by the way, follow a meticulously timed daily routine that begins and ends very early. In between, phases of work, study, community, and meditation or prayer alternate. In other words, the monks pack all the things that make up a fulfilled life into every single day. The strict guidelines ensure that no area is neglected and no time is wasted. 3. Accept change as the only constant. Nothing in life ever stays the same, everything is only temporary. In good times, we can hardly bear this idea. In bad times, it is a great comfort. Buddhist monks live life as it presents itself to them. They share joy and suffering, illness and death. The great benefit of recognizing this impermanence is that we appreciate the moment much more. The good moments with our loved ones become the precious gifts that we should celebrate and truly cherish. One day it could all be over, and all we have left is the memory. Every human life can change in a fraction of a second, and not only for the better. Anyone who recognizes this fact respects it, and shapes their existence under these conditions will come to know mindfulness and true fulfillment. 4. Attentive listening opens our minds. Strictly speaking, a classic modern dialogue between two people is not a dialogue at all. They are two monologues that pass each other by perfectly. We only listen as much as is necessary to formulate our response. We are only quiet and let the other person finish so that we can think about our perfect counter in our minds. In this way, we will never find out more about our fellow human beings. However, if you want to expand your knowledge of the world and its inhabitants, you have to become a careful listener and a silent observer. We urgently need to stop relegating our contemporaries to a drawer after a few seconds from which there is no escape. Prejudice is the quickest and surest way to make a mistake. 5. Meditation cleanses our mind. After the chaos on the outside, we now also need to clear up the chaos on the inside. Not only are our homes and diaries overcrowded, but unfortunately, so are our minds. If you're not a fan of classic meditation in the Far Eastern tradition, the best place to start is with a walk in the great outdoors. The silence of a forest or the sound of a river can have a very similar effect on our peace of mind. For beginners or all those who are rather critical of the project, sitting still for 10 minutes and staring out of the window is highly recommended as a starter option. Quality trumps quantity. We don't have to give away all our possessions and go into a monastery like great enlightened beings or saints in order to understand the meaning of life. Even modern existences leave room for spirituality and the nurturing of body and mind. The constant pursuit of material things, on the other hand, is a bottomless pit. It diminishes our finances and our living space, but cannot fill the gap that has arisen within us. First and foremost, we need to reconnect with ourselves. If you can be alone with yourself, you can achieve anything in life. The company of other people, like that of things, is just a form of distraction. We clutter ourselves up with them so that we don't have to devote ourselves to the real issues in our lives. Fewer possessions leave us more room for the really important things. Right at the forefront of this is our relationship with ourselves. It is the first and last relationship we will have in this world, and the only investment where excess wins.